Hey folks, what's going on? This is the Teutonic Plague, and this is the video that I promised you people I would make in my Victory Monday video. This is the first annual bye-week, pretty much state of the team, state of the birds, and we're going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly in this video as it pertains to the Philadelphia Eagles organization, the players, the coaching staff, the plays that have been made, and the season as a whole. So, first annual, the good, the bad, and the ugly, state of the birds. Welcome to it. Now, first off, I want to say our opponent after the bye week in Week 11 will be the Chiefs. We got the Kansas City Chiefs, Week 11, in our next game. So that's a Super Bowl rematch right there, and hopefully we will take our revenge. After last year's Super Bowl, after we lost to those Kansas City Chiefs, I want vengeance. I want vengeance, for Christ's sake. But I'm not here to talk about vengeance. I'm here to talk about the Eagles. So let me go ahead, and we're going to start with the good. All right? The good first. First and foremost, our record. We stand at a rather impressive 8-1 record. For those of you unfamiliar with how records are kept, 8-1 means 8 wins and 1 loss. So that shows me that we're continually winning games. We continue to win ball games, and win ball games, which, of course, is excellent news. And it's excellent for the Eagles. And honestly, you're talking to a hardcore Eagles fan, honestly. I mean, I think the Philadelphia Eagles... Oh, crap. No nail clippers. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, I sincerely think this team is the best in the world. Because if I didn't, would I buy their shit? Would I buy their swag? No, I wouldn't. No, but, folks, while I think the Philadelphia Eagles are the best in the world, we got to look at this. We got to look at the Eagles. This is good. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. 2023. So, for the bye week. So we got to look at this through an objective lens. So let's go ahead and get back on task and continue. The main point of this, the main bullet point here is the Philadelphia Eagles continue to win ball games. We've only lost 1 game so far this year. That is definitely a good thing. If you're not one of these idiots who, if you're not one of these morons who would rather tank for a better draft pick. Tanking is for losers, okay? Anybody who thinks losing is good should have their head examined, all right? Another good thing about this team is the offensive line. And the offensive line, I think, plays a great game of football, barring a few mistakes. We'll get to the mistakes and the bad and ugly sections. But the good news is we got a good O-line who produces. We got Jalen Hurts, who I sincerely think is the greatest quarterback of all time. Despite the fact that he's a young QB, he's not a rookie, but he hasn't been in the game very long. I knew, folks, if I gave this guy a shot back when he was the backup, when they brought Jalen out, I didn't shake my head in doubt and go, no, bring back Wentz, bring Wentz out. Because, folks, I knew if I gave Jalen Hurts a shot, that he would prove to be at least high tier, if not top tier. We're seeing a top tier performance out of Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. All right. Jalen, the thing about Jalen is he's Carson Wentz cranked up to 11. Why do I say that? When after Carson Wentz left the Eagles, he started to suck. Now, the reason I say that is I'm going to talk about Wentz for a minute. I remember Carson Wentz for his versatility. Jalen Hurts has that same versatility. He's able to throw. He's able to hand off. He's able to do fakes. But if you're a quarterback, you're not getting into the league unless you're somewhat versatile. All right, unless you're somewhat versatile, you're not getting in. But he's more than somewhat versatile. He's a highly versatile quarterback because I want to branch off and say another good thing about this team is the pocket protection. Because Jalen performs at his best when he has a while to throw, like I've said before. If he has a few seconds or he has like all day to throw, that's when he performs his best because this guy loves to pass. But if need be, he can hand the ball off. And, of course, when Jalen does get somewhat pressured, when the pocket does collapse, and Jalen is under pressure and in trouble, now he's able to use his feet to get outside the pocket. Now he can leave the pocket, and he can either, now he can throw from there, he can even keep and run himself. And, folks, Jalen Hurts, I keep saying Jalen Hurts is Iron Man, Jalen Hurts is Iron Man, Jalen Hurts is Iron Man. But the reason I say that is because I'm about to prove to you folks that he's Iron Man. Is because this guy, he's a little crazy in my opinion, because he played through that knee injury like nothing. Like it wasn't shit. I mean, good God. And another reason I say he's Iron Man is, folks, when he gets hit, he gets back up. Like, this guy doesn't let anything slow him down. A fucking big-ass fucking bear-looking fucking muscle jock motherfucker of a defensive lineman can put his whole weight right in Jalen's chest. And Jalen just gets back up, brushes it off, and says, "Nah, whatever. I got tackled, so I guess the play's over, but yeah, I'm fine. Try again." Jalen Hurts is Iron Man, okay? Because not only does he have a habit of not getting hurt, he stays healthy, but when he does get somewhat banged up, like his left knee, he's able to fight through it and play through it, and it's like nothing happened. It's like his knee doesn't even... Jalen Hurts does not care about a little inconvenience like a knee injury. Now, I won't go so far as to say he doesn't care about his knee injury, because I'm sure on his off time he takes care of his knee, takes care of his body. You got to treat your body right if you're a football player of any kind, or you play any sport. So yeah, he treats his body right, he takes care of his knee, and he makes sure he's good to go for the next week's game. And now he's got a little extra time to rest up because we're in the bye week. But, folks, what I'm saying is Jalen Hurts plays through pain that not very many quarterbacks can play through. I know in my victory lap video against the Cowboys, I was talking shit about how if Dak Prescott got a knee injury like Jalen, he might, exit the, he might walk out of the game and, just, like Peter Griffin, and Peter Griffin, Family Guy Peter Griffin, when he falls down and hurts his knee, he goes, and he does this for about 30 seconds to a minute, right? And it's a running gag in the show. I'm not saying any other quarterback, but most other quarterbacks, this was my little roundabout, little humorous way of saying, most quarterbacks, that's what they do. They probably, grab their knee, hobble off the field, and, sit out the rest of the game while they got over their injury. But Jalen Hurts doesn't care. Not Jalen Hurts. He says, I hurt my knee, but it's okay. I think, I think I'm straight. I think I'm straight. All right. So put me back in, coach. I'm smooth. Let's play some, let's play ball. Put me back in. Let's play ball. He really is Iron Man. He's like Carson. The thing about Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz, he wasn't Iron Man. Okay, Carson Wentz was not Iron Man because, you know, he'd get hurt and be done for the season, and this would happen almost every year, and it would become like a running, like a joke among us, you know, Eagle fans, that, you know, Carson Wentz is really good, but he's like a glass cannon. He can throw the ball very well. He's very versatile, but he's a man of glass. He's Glass Man, and that's a running joke among Eagles fans. I'm not trying, for all you nostalgic, you know, Eagle fans who say they miss Wentz, you know, that's great. I don't mean any disrespect to Carson Wentz, but the facts are the facts. Jalen Hurts is at QB now. All right? Now, Carson Wentz will always hold a special place in my heart because of the Super Bowl season, and so will Nick Foles, because Nick Foles actually got us the ring. But my QB is Jalen Hurts now. I accuse Cowboy fans of living in the past. And how am I going to accuse somebody of living in the past if I'm sitting over here living in the past? I got to get in with the now. And now we got Iron Man Jalen Hurts at QB. That's another good thing. Now, another good thing about this team is the defense. I keep saying over and over in my videos, I keep addressing the president, who I don't think even watches my videos, but, you know, my most watched video, the Shut the Fuck Up video, is, it has over, like, 600 hits now. It almost has 700 hits as I'm making this video. But, you know, I don't think the president is one of those hits. But, you know, I keep saying, Mr. President, sir, you don't need a border wall to keep the border secure. You need the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I stand by that, because our defensive line in the last game, especially against the Scum, showed me that they have what it takes to beat teams who are, you know, who are playing well, at least playing well against the Eagles. Because you got to remember, that was a rivalry match. That was like a division matchup. It's just like the Eagles versus the Commanders. The Commanders suck. But when they play the Eagles, or the Giants, or the Scum, now all of a sudden they're good. Because that's their rival. They want to get first in the division, right? They want to win their division. Like I went over in I think it was the first Commanders video, the first victory lap against the Commanders, because I know we swept Washington this year. That's great. Sweep, sweep, sweep away. Sweep, sweep away. But, folks, our defensive line showed me, and showed hopefully you as well, that they've got what it takes to stop successful teams like the Scum, or, you know, the Dolphins, or who was another good team we played? Well, definitely the Dolphins was a solid team. The Scum, I hesitate to say, is a good team, because I hate, you know, I hate the fucking Cowboys. That's why I keep calling them the Scum. But, folks, all I'm saying is this: the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot of good things going for them. All right? They got Sean Desai as the defensive coordinator, and they've got a new offensive coordinator. They've got an offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator over here, can't remember the man's name, because I focus less on the coaching staff, less on the coordinators than on the actual players and, you know, the way they play the game. But players, you know, players can't really play very well without their coaches. So now I kind of feel like a piece of crap because I can't remember the name of our offensive coordinator. You know. But I can remember the name of our head coach, Nick Sirianni. We've got a solid coaching staff, is what I'm trying to say. If we didn't have a solid coaching staff, then we wouldn't have solid players, and we wouldn't win ball games. You remember the rebuild years with Jim Schwartz and Mike Groh, how I wanted them gone, how I wanted, you know, them gone and the fucking team to rebuild and start winning again like they are this year? I'm just saying, folks, it feels good to win again. I'm just putting that out there. Now we're going to move on to the bad stuff, all right? I've been loving on the Eagles. I've been loving on their good aspects for about 15 minutes now, according to the little timer on the top of my screen. Now we gotta go over here, focus on the bad stuff, on the bad stuff that's not so good, folks. I hate to say it, but the secondary, because the secondary is part of our defensive line, and our defensive line, I said, was in the good category. But folks, first I want to talk about the secondary. They're a young secondary. They're learning on the job, at least at least in my opinion. But I think they need to step their game up, step their chain up a little more, so that maybe I remember last year, almost every game, we intercepted the rock at least once. I think they need to step up their game, work on, intercepting, work on, how about you cover a little better? The secondary needs to do two things. The men that we currently have out there need to perform a little better, practice up. It's nothing that can't be fixed with practice. I'm not saying they suck. I'm not saying the Philadelphia Eagles secondary is trash. I'm just saying they need to practice a little more, man. Practice a little more, step their game up, step their chain up. And remember, the secondary is also it's a little bloody back there. We got injuries back there. So they need to heal up. The injured secondary players need to heal up. But that's not something that can be fixed with practice. That can only be fixed with time and, medical care, which the NFL has some of the best medical care out there. The Romans had gladiators and special doctors for the gladiators. We're over here. We got the same thing, kind of. I mean, they're not literally killing each other, but we got football players and we got the best, special doctors for them. I've heard said that America's the new Rome, but I'm not going to get political here. I'm just saying what I heard. But, folks, secondary, the men who are currently out there need to practice up, and the men who are injured need to heal up. The men who are out there need to practice up, and the men who are injured need to heal up. Because I think the secondary could stand to be a little bit better in some areas, most notably interceptions and coverage. Because when the enemy quarterback throws the deep ball and it gets caught, I mean, I don't need to tell you that's bad. You already know that. I'd be stating the obvious here. Another bad thing is, what's another bad thing? There aren't very many bad things, and there are definitely, a very select few ugly things. This isn't like the rebuild years before I started doing this. But another bad thing here is, and you guys can, I'll explain later. Another bad thing is, what's another bad thing? Another bad thing is, all right, some of the balls that are easily caught by the offensive line. All right, the guys who go long and Jalen throws the ball to them. I've noticed that Jalen has, thrown his fair share of incomplete passes, but it's not all Jalen's fault. I mean, some of it is. I mean, sometimes quarterbacks throw bad balls. But when he's not throwing a bad ball, if it's a perfectly catchable football and the other guy's wide open and he misses, I get a little pissed off because he could have caught that. It was right there. Now, what I'm saying is our receivers, wide receivers, and the guys who go deep, they need to work on catching the ball a little bit more often, provided it's a good ball. Now, some of it, another bad thing is Jalen Hurts throwing bad balls. He does sometimes throw bad balls. That's another bad thing. Maybe he needs to work. He's probably got to work on that a little. And while our pocket protection is good, I'm going to call this a bad thing solely for, structure, for reason. I mean, I got 3 boxes. I got a good box, I got a bad box, and I got an ugly box. Those are the 3 boxes I gave myself. And I have to put, there's no mediocre box. It's good, it's either good or it's bad or it's ugly. So I hesitate to do this, but I got to put the pocket protection in the bad box because I know those defensive linemen are big guys. I know they're big fuckers, all right? But maybe you need to give Jalen a bit more time to throw, because there are teams out there with defenses that love to rush the pocket. Pocket protection could stand to improve. Now, I'm not a coach, so I can't say exactly how. Maybe physical conditioning, maybe drills, maybe physical conditioning, maybe drills, maybe a combination of both. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I'm sitting over here, I'm armchair coaching. I'm just a fan of the Eagles. I only root for the team. I don't play for the team or coach for the team. I sit over here and support my team the best way I know how. Oof, God, that was a hard squeak. Hold on, give me my drink. Maybe I'll stop. I'll stop squeaking. And now we can move on to the ugly. The only ugly thing I can think of is the amount of fumbles and turnovers. Fumbles, turnovers, interceptions, definitely in the fucking ugly category. We definitely got to work on that. Jalen has to work on maybe not throw. Which he has been. He didn't throw any picks in the last game against the Scum. He didn't throw. I don't think he threw any picks in the fucking game before that. All right. But so he's been working on it. He's been trying. He's been working on it, and it's been working for him. He's been succeeding. But he needs to continue working on not throwing interceptions. And moving on from Jalen Hurts, keep doing what you're doing. I know I put, Jalen's, interceptions in the ugly column, but interceptions are always an ugly thing in football. Unless, of course, it's your team intercepting the football, in which case they're just great. But moving on. Fumbles. We gotta work on not fumbling the rock. I know during the last game against the Scum, we fumbled twice that I remember, and we maintained possession both times. That's great, but that was really scary. And we wouldn't have had to be scared and deal with that shit if they just hadn't have fumbled, man. Sure, we maintained possession, but you still fumbled. I remember in one of our games, I can't remember which one, you remember we fumbled twice at the fucking 5-yard line. Now, players probably got an earful from coach in the locker room. But, God, even though we won that game. But, God damn. We gotta work on not fumbling the ball and not committing turnovers. Good God. We may be the best in the world, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have the most turnovers in the league. I don't know. I don't look at stats that much. I know we're, statistically speaking, the best team based on pure win-loss ratio. That's great, but you guys need to work on not committing turnovers. And, I know I didn't go nuts in this video, at least not too much, barely if at all. But, folks, this isn't a video for going nuts. We didn't win, so I can't get excited, and we didn't lose, so I can't get mad. Because we didn't play, and the reason, because we didn't play. This is our bye week, all right? And this is the video to tide you over. State of the Birds, the good, the bad, and the ugly, 2023-2024 season. And before I kill this video, because I got to kill this video, because I'm exactly 24 minutes in right now, folks, before I kill this video, I just want to say, folks, I want to hear from you. Discussion's open. If you guys want to have discussions in the comments, go ahead. I might even chime in performing. Provided I relearn to speak English. Provided I relearn to fucking spoken. Let me try that one more time. I might even chime in, providing I got the time. But, discussion is wide open. I expect there to be discussions in the comments. I even expect there to be a little trash talk and some trolling. But you know what? That's nature of the beast. That's any YouTube channel. That's not just football. That's not just Eagles. That's any YouTuber. I expect some I expect intellectual discussion, and I expect trash talk as well. But, you know, let's sit down, folks, and have, you know, a somewhat intelligent conversation about this, because there might be some points that you don't agree with. There might be some facts I got wrong, all right? And there might be some points you want to add. Like, hey, Plague, why didn't you talk about, you know, put this in the good column, or, no, this is great, put this in the good column, or this isn't so, you know, this, we need to work on this, you know, this goes in the bad column because so, or, man, this really sucks, you got to put this in the ugly column. You only talked about really one thing in the ugly column. And folks, you're right, I did, because this has been a good performance this year so far. I mean, we're at the midpoint of the season. It's not over yet. And yeah, folks, you're right. This has been an excellent performance by the Eagles. All right, based on win-loss ratio. And that was a pretty ugly loss against the Jets. Little addendum, let's put the loss to the Jets in the ugly column, because we should have won that game. We should have won that game. We made a lot of mistakes in that game, but we improved. So with hesitation, I'll put the loss to the Jets in the ugly column, because losing's always an ugly affair. But discussion is open. So I'm going to upload this video, and I'm going to open the floor for discussion. I might even chime into these discussions if I got the time, or if I got if I got enough information to at least sound like I know what I'm talking about, you know. If I have enough information about something to not be an idiot when I talk about it, not sound like a moron, then I'll discuss it. So, maybe you got something you want to add to one of the columns. Maybe, there's a fact or two I got wrong. Maybe you want to move some shit around. Maybe maybe you want to take something that's bad and put it in the ugly column, or you want to take something that's, ugly, put it in the bad, whatever. Maybe you've got something to say. So I'm going to go ahead, folks, speak your piece. And I'll be, watching the comments and seeing what's going on and seeing what I can, kind of chime into. I mean, I always kind of watch the comments on my channel because, it's always nice to get it's always nice to get, decent comments. I mean, so I'm always, if there's a new comment, I always look at it and I'm like, this and that. I mean, I'm not trying to be Big Brother George Orwell spy on you. If I was, I'd remove comments I didn't agree with instead of replying to them. All right? And I know it's football, so I know, if you're going to troll me, I know it's in good fun. All right? So, with that being said, I'm going to kill this video. And just a reminder, I mean, the only reason I watch the comments is so I can reply to them if I got something to say, or, pretty much that's it. If I can reply to them if I got something to say, comments are, of course, always good for a laugh. That's the only reason I watch them. I'm a firm believer in free speech. So you got free speech. So don't think I'm over here trying to be Big Brother. All right? And on that little closing little note, because it's been about 30 minutes, I'm going to kill this video. And, well, I guess I'll see you in Week 11 for our game against the Chiefs, win or lose. Win, hopefully. And, let's go ahead and let the Philadelphia Eagles plot their vengeance.